Today we're playing Chimps mode, but we're gonna have a very special challenge in front of us, and that is the fact that I wanna buy the 5th tier Beast Handler Megalodon. Now that thing is super expensive, and let me just kind of try and start this thing. I think I'm gonna start with the triple dart because I did bring a Dora as the hero. I think a Dora is a very nice combination with the Beast Handler in general, especially the top hat one. And let's see how we can do this thing. So the top hat Megalodon is super expensive. That thing costs, I think it's closer to $110,000 for the entire thing. And honestly, the entire Beast Handler tower, you know what, I have not been using that tower a lot, guys. I mean, the total amount of XP that I have for the Beast Handler is about 260,000, which is not a lot given that I have tens of millions of XP for, for these other towers. Although the Beast Handler is kind of a new tower, so, you can say that. And let's see how we're gonna do on these first few rounds. Yeah, this tower did not grow on me at all. The only times that I've played this is usually in the challenge area, which doesn't award XP, so even though I have 260,000 XP on the Beast Handler, I have played the tower a lot more. And while this whole merging system is very cool, I think it's very demanding for you to kind of know what each tower does and kind of, I don't know, it's definitely a different take, but all I can say is that different take did not grow on me at all. So, but let's change that. Let's actually do a gameplay of the Megalodon. Let's see how we're gonna do. We need to survive like the first few seconds of this round. I think that we are gonna have enough money for the Dora, and then we're gonna stabilize. But man, these guys are not surviving at all. So I'm spamming the button, by the way, so let's have a Dora like this. And then I know that it's kind of a little bit of a mess here in the middle, but we're gonna sacrifice these dark monkeys, so we're gonna clean up a lot of this space. Okay, it's time to get the fish and upgrade. It's time to get the Barracuda, which should do a little bit more damage. And then eventually when we get to these other upgrades, I'm going to start merging them once we get to the shark. I think that when you get this one, you get the 3rd tier up to the max beast power, 24 out of 24. This can drag down Moabs, and that means that we are not going to be worried about Moab class balloons. But if you guys know how this tower used to work, and it still does, by the way, it kind of does a thrashing, which is basically when it starts flapping its tail, and as it moves backwards, and as it drags balloons, it does a lot of damage. Now, how much is that damage nowadays, and how good is it? Okay, so let's try focusing on getting the shark next. I do want to get this thing by, hopefully by the time these rainbows appear, but that's not going to be happening, I don't think. So let's see how we're going to do versus these guys. So they have a lot of HP, but I feel like the fish might be, oh, I need to use the level 3 ability. Adora is not getting buffed by anything right now because there's no spot for the Alchemist, so we need to get level 7 on Adora first, and then we kind of need to get rid of these Dark Monkeys. But we got the money for the shark, so let's see how good the shark is by itself. Oh my god, it's actually leaking so much. Oh no. That was a great snipe from Adora, by the way, but this shark is leaking the small balloons. Yeah, I don't remember this tower like this. Wait, is it just me or has it always been like this? But I do not remember this tower working like this. Oh my god, it's actually leaking. I don't know, guys. This shark is kind of disappointing me, and we just started. So let's do something like, I don't know, maybe the crossbow to just get a little bit of extra damage. I mean, we're still going to be missing some, but I guess it's going to be a little bit more consistent because we're not leaking that many balloons, I don't think. This is also going to give it a little bit of range so you can see this part of the track as well. And I hope that this is going to be enough. I mean, it's looking a lot better, but obviously this crossbow is going to go. But I just want to get, I just wanted to get done with the round. So let me just have it here towards the dart, and as it's moving the balloons back, I think it does less ticks, right? Or am I wrong about that one? It does less ticks of damage, so maybe we're gonna need to get an overclock or something like that. Okay, so Dora is not gonna get level 7. I wanted to get level 7 so I can sacrifice this Dark Monkey over here and place an Alchemist over there, but I think that I'm just gonna have to, I guess, use the level 3 ability now. Maybe a little bit earlier than I wanted, and then we are gonna figure something out for the Moab, it seems like, because this thing is not working out. This shark is not doing damage, guys. Do we even have this thing, actually? I think we do. I think the Adora bounces are helping a lot. Okay, so 4.9k. Let's see how much damage this thing does to the Moab. It's not a lot. It's just like a 300, but at the same time, this tower costs like $5,000. So it's actually about a little bit less than that, I think. But let's see how we do. So let's move this thing over here. And yeah, it's absolutely leaking balloons. Yeah, this shark is not doing damage. Okay, so let's try it like this. Let's buy another shark and let's merge it with this one. So it's gonna make the first one a lot stronger, and then we're just gonna keep moving it towards the back. So now it obviously does a lot more damage, and then we can move it like this. It's only the ceramics, and that is a lot better than last time, but still not good. And then maybe I want to have it like here towards the bottom part. Like, what am I missing? Is it like this? Okay, so it actually, where you place it matters a little bit, because as it's thrashing the balloons, as it's moving them back, you need to have basically the balloons in its way so they take the damage. And how do you even plan for that? I mean, that's my question. Like, I know that this is a good line because where you set it, it's where it's going to be dragged. So, for example, my cursor is like here, and then it's going to be dragging them towards that point. So if I set it like this, but you have to kind of think about the track placement as well, right? So this should be good, I think. Okay, so let's try setting this one to strong, and let's buy a glue. Am I slow on this one? Let's get the glue to strong, secure glue, stronger glue. We got the money. And I feel like this might be it, actually. Do we just need to have this thing on strong, the shark and the orca eventually? Because we do want them to hit the strongest balloons possible, right? So yeah, let's just do it like that, and let's just keep merging them, honestly. So we are gonna have the money for the shark, for the second shark. This is gonna be the last one, by the way, because it's gonna be 24 out of 24. So we're gonna have the money right now. Oh, let me just use the ability so that, because we have some purple balloons, so let's do it like that. Let's merge it up. And this is now going to be finally 24 out of 24 sharks. So this shark that we have right here can pull Moab class balloons. So Moab should not be a problem, but small balloons probably will be. So let's see how we're going to do this. This is round 49 and versus a max powered shark plus a Dora, which obviously has buffs. I'm going to try and save the level 3 ability, but how is this thing looking? So it's looking a lot better than last time, although we do have some support now in the form of a 022 glue. Now we merged it up, so I guess we kind of needed some power, honestly, but this is an expensive tower, and I expected this thing to be able to do a lot more stuff. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Let's watch how it does versus ceramics. So it pulls, I think it pulls them one by one. Let's just watch. Yeah, it pulls them one by one, but as it's flapping its tail, it does a lot of damage. So you kind of want it to one-shot things, because if it starts popping them, that's when the problems start arising. So you want to have this thing on strong, and let me just do the exact same thing, honestly, with the orca. So let's focus on getting the orca as soon as possible, and then I feel like these next rounds are actually going to be easy now that we've kind of set up. Okay, so pulling these Moabs in round 57 is going to be one of those rounds. I haven't actually popped a Moab in a while. Actually, since we got the shark upgraded, we haven't popped a single Moab. We've just been dragging them, which is very nice to have like an insta-kill tower. But let's upgrade it to the Orca because we do have the money. Or do we want to chill for a second? Actually, let's wait what happens in 58, and then I'm going to upgrade to the Orca because we're going to have a BFB on round 60. So let's just chill how we do on this one. Is this going to be the first one that we pop? No, it gets dragged down. And imagine what's going to be happening when we get an overclock. Is that going to help actually, or is that going to make things worse? Because it's going to increase the thrashing speed, which means it's going to do a lot more damage. So, and that in turn means it's going to be popping balloons and creating a huge mess with the Pierce. So I don't know, but there was round 58. So let me get the Orca now. And then this Orca should be able to drag down BFBs by itself. And we can also keep upgrading. Now we can buy the fourth one. So let's do it like this. Let's merge it up. This is going to be a 40 beast power Orca. So yeah, this thing is just going to keep dragging the BFB. So I don't think that we're going to be popping smoke balloons unless we do it with the DPS, but we have to start thinking about the small balloons incoming. So it's round 63 now, and I do want to see how good this thing is versus round 63. And so my prediction is that if the balloons are kind of in its way while it's dragging them, then it's gonna probably one-shot these ceramics. And if they're not, then it's just going to be a big mess because the ceramics are going to start getting popped. And then, yeah, exactly like that. So it pulled like a few ceramics, but the other ones just got thrashed. And then they popped thanks to the AoE. Okay, so let me use the ball because these guys are bound to leak. And then I feel like, I think I just have to use it right for these rounds. And then we're going to have a bunch of BFBs. I wanted to kind of see what's happening on this specific round, round 77, because this one has a lot of BFBs behind each other. And so here's my theory for this round. I feel like the Orca is, I think if it doesn't pop them, then we're going to beat this round. But because it does by thrashing it, I think it's just gonna create a bigger mess actually. Then it's gonna be helpful. So maybe keeping a low degree. I'm just gonna use the dorsal 3 ability to clean these guys out. But maybe keeping a lower degree Orca might sometimes be more beneficial as opposed to upgrading it, because when you upgrade it, the thrash does more damage. Okay, so round 80, let's see how we do on this one, and then if we take care of this UMG, which I'm pretty sure that we will, because when the Orca latches onto it, it kind of slows it for a brief second, and I think that if we just buy enough time for this thing to pop, yeah, then it's just going to eat up these BFBs, although it creates a huge mess because it drags one but it pops 3, and that's not what you want to be seeing. Okay, so it's round 81, and my theory is this. The degree for the Orca that we have right now, actually beast power for the Orca, is going to be stronger than a beast power 64 out of 64 Orca. And here is why I say that. I feel like if I get the 64 out of 64, then it's going to create a huge mess basically. So okay, so this one is leaking as well. But what I'm saying is that if I max buff it, it's going to do a lot of damage due to the thrashing, and it's actually going to create a bigger mess. So round 81 we can probably beat if I use Adoral's level 10 ability. Yeah, we're going to have this thing, but I'm actually going to restart the round and I'm going to see you guys in a second. Okay, so now let's merge up all of these guys and let's give it 64 out of 64. And now I think that this one is actually going to perform a little bit worse than the previous one. Let's see, because the thrashing does a lot more damage. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Or actually, oh my god, it's actually not true. I mean, the thrashing now does so much damage that it actually skips layers, so you can one-shot ceramic. So that's exactly not exactly true, it seems like. Okay, so I'm just kind of jumping into this video because I did some testing in Sandbox and it turns out that my theory was indeed correct, but it just depends on what's the degree of the beast handler that you have, and that determines whether or not it's going to do damage or it's going to do good for you. So here's how it goes. This is an Orca with 16 beast power, and if I send in the exact same round 81, look at what's going to happen. I'm just going to fast forward this, and what's going to happen is that these BFBs, they're becoming so strong that the Orca is not able to do enough damage to them by thrashing them. So what's going to happen is that the Orca is going to one by one slowly eat up every single one of them without popping them into mobs and without creating a mess. So do I have to move this thing actually? Yeah, I need to move it once more, and there you go. So that's the entire round 81 cleaned up by a 16 beast power Orca. Now look at what I'm gonna do, the exact same thing. So we're gonna do the Orca like that, but I'm gonna merge it with 2 more Orcas. So let's do it, Orca number 1, Orca number 2, and now this one has 48 out of 64 beast power. So this one is a lot stronger than it used to be, and I'm going to send it the exact same round. And so what happens now is that because the Orca's thrash damage becomes so much stronger than it was, the thrashing is actually going to start popping these BFBs, and it's actually going to create a bigger problem than before. So in some situations you actually want, yeah, exactly, look at this. So it's now popping them into mobs, the mobs are sometimes popping into ceramics, and you're leaking Bloon with the stronger Orca. And that's exactly what my theory was, in that sometimes the stronger Orca might not be the better choice. But look at this thing, and now because it's at 64 out of 64, we can one-shot ZOMG. So that means that round 87 is going to disappear in a second. Well, hopefully it doesn't pop the ZOMG, because if it pops it into BFBs, it's going to create a bigger problem for itself. But no, it didn't, so that's completely fine. So a couple of rounds left until we can avoid this thing, but also I feel like deities might be a huge problem for this tower, because the deities are super fast, and it's going to, while it's going to be popping them for sure, it's going to be taking time to pop them. So the dragging animation, the drag time is actually a little bit long. So I feel like on rounds like 90, maybe not 90, but like 95 is definitely going to be a problem for this tower. So we're going to need a lot of slows and stuns, and by that point we need to get the Megalodon. So hopefully we can make the money in these next few rounds, and hopefully I can save these abilities, and I do say that, and that was ceramic on the right side. Come on, dude. Okay, so first DDTs. Let's see how the Orca, the max buff Orca, does versus only 3 DDTs. I really hope that it's going to be able to beat them. So it's flapping the back, yes. We're missing about $200. So as soon as a few of these guys pop, we are going to be able to buy the Megalodon, and there we go, boom. And now we have it. We have the biggest shark of them all. So now this shark, oh my god, look how big this thing. I forgot how big this one is, actually. Look at that thing. And round 95, this is probably going to be the biggest test for our Megalodon, and to see how it does versus DDTs, because they are indeed fast, and we are going to be leaking some small balloons for sure, just like that one. But if it deals with the DDTs, I think that we can patch things up with Adore and her level 10 ability, right? So let's just see how it does. It keeps pulling the DDTs back, and then the flap damage, the trash damage seems to be enough. Yeah, so this is a great combo with the Relentless Glue, by the way, which just keeps stunning everything in place. But there we go, that was round 95, which was surprisingly good. It still leaked a little bit, and for a tower that costs $110,000, I would not want it to leak small balloons, but I guess the intervals, the ticks at which it does its damage are a little bit slower, and maybe we can do something about that. Maybe we can get an overclock. So let's see if we can get an overclock. Is it going to improve? And I think that we're going to have the overclock, yeah, before round 98. So let's buy it now. Yeah, these ZMGs, oh my god, they're 45, but they're going to disappear in a second. Okay, but we are going to have the overclock ready. And so let's see, let's overclock the Beast Handler, and let's see if any small balloons are going to be leaking now. But this is, keep in mind, this is a very expensive setup to get. And I still do see some small balloons get kind of leaking. Yeah, there we go. So they are indeed leaking. But this is a super strong tower. I mean, that's around 98, which is it ate it up in like a few seconds, which is honestly expected. I'm just, you know, I'm not complaining for this. But it's round 99, so 45 DDTs, they shouldn't be a problem because the thrashing speed should be more than enough. Although it doesn't, okay, so it doesn't one-shot them. So let me overclock it and look at those leaks. Come on, dude. So that's the only problem this tower has. It's just the small balloon leaks. It's a very expensive tower, but yeah, once you get to round 100, it just does this. It just drags it back into the water. And there it is. So let me just check the pops and how much of the work it... Yeah, so it did the majority of the work, it seems like. Maybe I was, you know, maybe I was overreacting about the small balloons, but at the same time, I don't know. Because even though we have 1.8 million pops, it only takes one for them to leak so that you lose. And we had a lot of close leaks with just ceramics, small groups of balloons that had to patch up with Adora. And even though Adora doesn't have a lot of pops, I think that she was the one that saved the game. But this Megalodon seems to be a very interesting tower. I'm kind of, you know, I'm kind of reliving the old Megalodon, and the old Megalodon and the sharks and whatever it was. At least I remember them as them being a little bit stronger. Maybe it's just me. Maybe there have been a lot of changes during, you know, these months that the Beast Tower has been out. But all in all, this tower seems to be very good versus Moab class balloons, and it seems to be, you know, if it's meant for Moab class balloons and just one-shotting balloons, then it seems to be doing its job very good. But that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I will see you all in the next one.